Hello guys. Welcome to Top Anime Sensei. This video is the part 7 of tournament final and the dungeon opening. So if you have not watched the previous parts, then please go check them. The links are in the description. And if you like the video, please subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. So without any further delay, let's start. I do hope everyone can understand that it is ineffective outside. That was the most important point. If someone accidentally tried to use it outside, that was not something that you could just get away with an oops, that didn't work. Moreover, it'd be problematic if they pushed the responsibility onto us, even though it was totally the fault of the user himself. And that's all. I once again urge everyone to not use it outside at all. Soka's explanation was very clear for everyone to understand. There we go. The only problem left was for someone to actually experience using it. Normally, people would hesitate when confronted with such a thing. However, with Ramirez's modification of the revival bracelet, any pain and agony could be filtered out when a person was confirmed dead. In addition, there was approximately a 10-second gap between dying and being teleported back to the surface. We intentionally made it this way so people could use appropriate means to revive themselves. By the way, even though a full healing potion was unable to revive the soul of a person within the labyrinth, the soul would remain in the body. In other words, it was actually possible to resurrect people by repairing their body using the full healing potion. However, I feared that this again might create some misunderstandings in the outside world. Which was why we designed it so that if no proper means of resurrection was applied within 10 seconds, the body would be teleported to the surface. Just as Masayuki said, challenging the labyrinth was like playing a game. Now we would have someone test out the revival bracelet right here. Then, does anyone want to try it out now? You won't die in the labyrinth? That's some real funny shit. I'm not gonna fall for your bullshit rhetoric. The bald, strong man, Basone, exclaimed as the others nodded in agreement. Ellen's party also didn't want to volunteer. Isn't that simple enough? Mister over there, how about you step up for the demonstration? Kai the splendacious swordfighter pointed at Murmiles. He didn't want to do it himself, and instead pointed at someone else to try. But fine, I suppose that was reasonable. Me? Your proposal does make sense, so I shall accept. Murmiles, now appointed, seemed to have anticipated how things would develop. He didn't look particularly moved by it. She and subordinate had been subjected to that experience many times, so Murmiles also believed that it was completely safe. Murmiles calmly put on the bracelet and entered the labyrinth. At the same time, many challengers also entered with him. Then, I shall attack Mr. Murmiles here, Soka said as she unsheathed her sword with one hand and prepared herself to attack Murmiles, yet Kai interrupted her by taking actions of his own. Don't think you can fool me now, ah. As he finished, he went on to swing his sword and cut off Murmiles' arm. Wait, Soka shouted to intervene, but it was too late. Arg! Murmiles cried out as he held his wound. Since pain was reduced in the labyrinth, he wouldn't die from shock, but it was nonetheless unpleasant to have your arm chopped off. Ha ha ha, look at yourself, time to die. That bastard dares to mock Murmiles. I almost lost control, yet I saw a smirk on Murmiles' face. I immediately calmed down at the scene. At the same time, Kai sliced his sword through Murmiles' neck. Murmiles' body suddenly turned into beams of light before disappearing. It was like nothing had happened. He reappeared at the surface, near the temporary entrance at the center of the stage. Even all of Murmiles' clothes turned into light and he revived with his original appearance. These scenes were all recorded by the Dryads using the crystal balls and passed onto the projector as the footage was shown on the large screen. Please have a look everyone, all my limbs are fine as before. Murmiles was standing there casually, unharmed. His cut arm was restored to its original state, bringing us the best performance of the day. Wow! The crowd gave off waves of loud cheers, some even shouting, that was a miracle. Our goal was reached most excellently. It would be troublesome if people suspected that it was some kind of a trick, yet Kai's overreaction proved to have convinced people even more so. That's why we only needed to wait for adventurers who visited the labyrinth to leak such news. Some nut-job challengers would probably want to try it out themselves. But that wouldn't be a problem either. The point was to encourage people to challenge the dungeon. Thanks to Murmiles, our scheme came into fruition. This was exactly the outcome I wanted, which was also why I tolerated Kai's actions. It cost Murmiles to endure such horrible things. I would have to go give him my thanks later, I thought to myself while watching the screen. Now then, you may start exploring the labyrinth. Once you step inside, you will find yourself in a world of unknowns. What will these brave adventurers encounter there? Soka began to broadcast the footage on stage. The large screen began to show the status of each group. Bassone's party was moving on the first floor. I thought they would at least have someone sketch down maps, yet it seemed that none of them had the slightest intention of taking notes, nor were they putting markers on the walls. In times like this, how did they manage to achieve their goals? Could it be that they had hired people to lead the way every single time? Tisk, why are we always walking down the same road? What the hell, these are all quadrilaterals. Boss, didn't we just walk along this road as well? Before my worries could have been relayed to them, these people were already lost. Basson, this is bad. This labyrinth is larger than we imagined. Ah, I get it. The first floor of the labyrinth alone was around 250 meters long on each side. We did mention that it was big, but these people seemed to have thought it would be smaller. I supposed that was fine, as long as they helped with the promotion, it would be okay. But we couldn't let them die on the first floor right out of the gates. If they ended up making it look like the labyrinth was so unfairly difficult, then no one would want to challenge it. I hoped that they could at least progress to a certain extent. They could come back if killed anyway. The bracelet had the savior function. Alpha and the other dryads would then go to assist. This time they were even accompanying all of the contestants, so the dryads could forcefully teleport them back to the surface, if need be. Are your heads full of shit? There's no way any labyrinth is that big. These are all tricks of the Demon Lord. He's trying to send us off the trail with magic. Yeah. As expected from Basson Aniki. Indeed, there's a dense layer of magicule here. As you have said, this is likely some hallucination or illusion magic at work. That's right, Gomez. From the start, we have always taken right turns at the intersections. In other words, we can easily turn around and go back the way we came. No way. The problem was not the difficulty. Their plan sounded very comprehensive, but in reality, that wasn't the case. It'd be okay for them to have taken notes on paper or other items. However, since the hallways all had similar-looking walls along them, they couldn't possibly remember every single one of them. The challengers were just too stupid. Looks like I best not put too much hope into these people. But just as I thought so, Basson's party vanished, or rather, they fell down to the next floor. Did they just fall into a trap? Soka asked, sharing my same confusion. Was there a fall trap set on the first floor? Ramirez. What? Nothing serious, it's just that I was the one who designed that floor. I don't recall little tricks like that. Could it be you who made the change without my permission? My eyes narrowed as a smile hung on my face. This was to not scare Ramirez. Although, I had also locked my hands around her body in a vice grip to prevent her from escaping, before asking her the question. About that, it was because we wanted to further the completion of the labyrinth. Ramirez answered with an ingratiating smile. After some more persistent interrogation, she admitted to having set up an enormous amount of fall traps herself. I angrily cursed as Ramirez, you idiot. The point of them is to get people lost in order to reduce their stamina. Having fall traps that gave them shortcuts would serve the opposite effect. But there are more vicious fall traps down in the lower floors. So I really was just wondering if you had forgotten to set one up in that area or something. My intention was all good. Ramirez, Veldora, Milam. I knew these three would mess up when laying the traps. That's why I personally designed the first floor. I hurried to confirm the status of the other teams. First was Ellen's party. Cabal was originally the leader, but right now Ellen had taken control. These people all had a terrible sense of direction. My guess was that they would have difficulty in even getting through the first floor. Ellen's party wasn't tricked by the fall traps, instead they were progressing very carefully. Ellen and the boys are so careful. They haven't stepped on any traps, even avoiding ones that I've set. They've also found their third treasure chest. They are progressing way too smoothly. Ehehe. What the heck? Something about this seems off. Why are they doing so well? There was also one more thing that had caught my attention. Ramirez seemed to be trying to hide something with her smile right now. Oi, Ramirez. What? I have a lot of faith in you, but could there be anything that you are hiding from me? Of course, Rimuru. Then let me ask you this, did you do something with Ellen's party? Judging by this screen alone, there was nothing out of the ordinary. However, their current record seems way too suspicious. Regarding the treasure chests set by me, most of them, naturally, were empty, yet they had found items inside them 3 times in a row. There was a good chance that they had been cheating. About that. Again? What did you do? I did. Ellen and her companion sent some gifts, so we were just chatting and having a good time. And then, it hurt my head just listening. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have not watched the previous parts, then please watch them. The links are in the description. And don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates.